Hey everybody, this is Minion Soldier, and this is the Piracy Show. Now today, unfortunately for pirates and smugglers, I've got some bad news for you. The changes to the roadmap have something out of place. Now, you may think that I'm talking about the Cutlass Red being pushed into 3.8, but we all knew that that was going to happen, right? I've been warning you guys for weeks that that was going to happen. But if you look at 4.0, you'll see that the ship there is the Crusader Industries Starlifter, which is a little bit odd. Originally, the first ship from Crusader Industries, we had been told, was going to be the Mercury Starrunner. Now, this was something that was revealed to us by Disco Lando right around the time that the Mercury Starrunner was sold, or perhaps just a little bit after it. I would have to go and dig it up to find the exact quote, but this was going to be kind of the launching point for the Crusader Industries line. Now, the Crusader Industries ship line has existed for quite some time, going all the way back to 2015 with the introduction of the Starliner. And, the Starrunner, in all fairness, was the last of the Crusader Industries ships to be revealed thus far. But being that it was the smallest, it was going to be the first, and it was going to become the style guide that was going to set the pace for all the other ships that were going to come after it. Now it looks like the Starlifter is going first. Now, the Starlifter isn't an unwelcome vehicle in Star Citizen, and this might have a bit of a reason why CIG is doing this. And that reason would happen to kind of coincide with a sale that happened roughly about a month and a half ago, I think. And that was the sale of this vehicle here. This is, of course, the Ballista Mobile Anti-Air APC, however you want to designate it. Along with the Nova tank, this represents the two largest ground vehicles that you can currently purchase, and the only large ground vehicle that you can currently operate in Star Citizen. Now, of course, this was released last month, and it was sold to much fanfare because of the fact that it was drivable and usable in the current game, something that players were kind of hoping we would see more of with concepts, certainly things that are usable in the Star Citizen universe currently. But of course, I'm sure there's an even larger amount of players out there who would like to see the ships that they're still waiting for usable in the Star Citizen universe. Now, the Ballista, unfortunately, came with a problem. While it is obviously a very impressive vehicle and has a lot of potential, there's one problem. There's no vehicle in the Star Citizen universe, there's no ship that can actually transport it to the battlefield. So the most that you can do is go down to, say, Arcorp Mining or any place like that, where you can pull out a ground vehicle, you can then take it out, drive it around, and if you want to do a mission on the surface of that moon, you may end up driving possibly 1,000 kilometers to get to a site where you could actually employ the vehicle. Whoops. So the Starlifter being pushed into the lead position for Crusader Industries may be something of a two birds with one stone type situation where, yep, you know what? We get a lead ship for Crusader Industries. We use it as the style guide, but then, of course, we now have the ability to transport the Ballista in universe and potentially in the future, the Nova tank as well. Now, as for the Starrunner, I would think that chances are this was a very recent change. This is something that CIG kind of looked at and said, hey, you know what? Two birds with one stone. Let's do it this way. Let's fit the Starlifter into the Starrunner slot and then just go from there. And I mean, there's a point where you can disagree with it, and there's also you can agree with it. Now, for the ability to transport the Ballista, of course, kind of a good idea, because the Ballista kind of ended up becoming one of the not dead ships, but dead vehicles in Star Citizen. Much like the Reclaimer, the Future Vulture, the Herald, ships that more or less their careers don't exist in the Star Citizen universe as of yet, even though the ships do. And so an argument could be made that while having the Reclaimer in universe is cool, and I wanted to actually use it for the background footage of this video, but it's currently killing its owners again, unfortunately. The truth is the Reclaimer also represents a huge amount of resources that were spent developing a vehicle which ultimately can't do anything in the Star Citizen universe. Initially, when the Reclaimer came out, we could use it to do bounty missions because the pilots had control over all the guns on the ship, and you could warp in and just absolutely pummel ships to death with the Reclaimer while it still had the huge shields of a capital ship. So it was kind of fun. But of course that was removed because it, in all honesty, it probably would have created an expectation that the pilot could remotely operate all the guns at the same time. And so CIG probably didn't want to set that precedent and then have to take it back at a later date. So I kind of understand it, but it was fun as hell. But currently the Reclaimer is a dead ship, much like the Herald. And seeing how the Ballista, potentially a really cool vehicle, is also technically dead at this point in Star Citizen. It came out, it was sold, it's drivable, but you really can't do anything with it. So that would be kind of like the argument for postponing this ship and going with the Starlifter instead. However, it may not have been entirely thought through. Now, what makes me think that this was a current decision and this was something that was kind of decided on the fly is the fact that, of course, the Starlifter's release date, 4.0, and it's scheduled. It's not begun. 4.0 is June of next year, and they haven't even started on it yet. Now, a ship like the Starrunner, you could say, okay, well then that makes sense. They can get a ship together like that because it's a smaller ship. They can get it together in a shorter amount of time. But the Starlifter is an enormous ship. It's a big ship. And of course, it is also going to be the style guide for every other Crusader Industry ship that comes after it. So a lot of care and a lot of work is going to have to go into making this ship flyable. The ship that I'm operating right now in the background, which is the Caterpillar, ended up being one of the lead ships for the new Drake. And that ship spent over a year in production, and that ship isn't even fully completed yet. Now we're talking about an even bigger ship that is supposed to be completed in less time, and it's supposed to be the style guide for everything that comes after it from that ship manufacturer. That's why I'm thinking that someone just said, oh, just put it into the Starrunner slot without realizing it's actually way more work than a Starrunner. So the idea that the Starlifter is actually going to appear in 4.0 is kind of comical. The Starrunner, on the other hand, represents a smaller ship, an easier endeavor to put this ship together and to make it flyable in the Star Citizen universe. Not only that, the beginning forms of its careers exist in the Star Citizen universe right now. In terms of smuggling, that already exists. Blockade running in Star Citizen technically already exists. You can get halted by the police and you can run past them, the thing that this ship was designed for. It is designed to run cargo at high speed. Now, data running, of course, is not in the game yet, but hopefully at some point soon we will see it emerge and we will see it delivered into the game. But the core career of the Starrunner is already ready for it in game now. All it really needs is the ship, but unfortunately, the ship has been delayed, and I would say kind of needlessly, because there's no way the Starlifter is going to be done by 4.0, so there's no point in even putting it on the schedule unless you are looking at a release date that is probably over a year from now. Now, you may own a Starlifter, or you may know someone who does, who may completely disagree with what I'm saying, and no, it has to be there. I want it, this is my ship. I want this ship to be done. But you have to think about this logically. The Starlifter is one of 3 separate variants. So whichever variant you own, there's no guarantee that that's the one that they're going to build. In fact, chances are the civilian variant is probably going to go first, meaning the other two variants could possibly be put off into the future, as has happened with many other ships in Star Citizen's past. So guaranteeing that you're going to get the bomber version, which is the one that you really want, is highly unlikely. So with the unrealistic delivery date of June of next year, coupled with the fact that you're probably not going to get the one that you actually want, I would like to see the Starlifter on the production schedule, but I think the Starlifter would benefit much more from the Starrunner being built first and the Starlifter being built afterwards, or possibly both being built concurrently with the Starrunner coming out first, where a June 2020 release date is an actual realistic possibility, whereas for the Starlifter, it's just never going to happen. Anyways, that's the show for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching. So if you want to keep up with the latest and greatest in Star Citizen and Squadron 42's development, please follow us on our social media channels. See you soon.